Sister Rebecca sat impassively opposite Fenella Church and Sam Gable in interview room 1. If she was nervous about facing an interrogation by 2 police officers in the heart of police headquarters, her demeanour gave no clue of that fact. "Sister Rebecca, you know why we've asked you to come here with us, don't you?" Church asked, watching her closely. She nodded sedately, but said nothing. "You're not under arrest or under caution as yet, and are free to leave at any time, though I warn you now, if you do, we may be forced to place you under arrest. Is that clear?" Again, she nodded. "I strongly suggest you attempt to answer our questions, sister. You're not helping anyone by your refusal to speak," Sam Gable added. "I don't really know why I'm here," the nun finally said. "You're here because we believe you know something about the death of Paul Schneider, the man who was masquerading as Brother Bernard, and probably about the death of Daniel Parker, the man who came to cut the grass at the Priory," Church explained. "And because you refuse to reveal your true background before becoming a nun," Gable added. "We're having that checked out as we speak. We do know how to find things out, you know." Sister Rebecca hesitated, and Fenella Church had a sense of something, fear perhaps, in the nun's mask of stoicism. How could she break through that impenetrable mask? Suddenly, she had an idea. "I understand, you know. We need to rid the world of evil, and sometimes God can lead us down quite unexpected paths in order to achieve his goals." Sister Rebecca nodded gravely, as if she was agreeing with the sergeant's words, but still refused to say more. "Surely, if you felt you were doing God's work, you have nothing to feel ashamed about." "I'm not ashamed of anything," the nun finally spoke. "Then tell us your real name, before we have to involve the Benedictine authorities," Gable interjected. "At present, this is just a cosy chat. You're simply assisting with our inquiries." "Very well. The Lord wouldn't want me to despoil myself or my order with lies and evasion. I was born Marie Nolan. My father was Sean Nolan, and my mother Clara, née Foulds. As far as I'm aware, we have no German relatives in the family. It wasn't until Brother Bernard arrived at the Priory that I'd ever heard of the organisation known as the Stasi." "Wait a moment," Church reluctantly interrupted. Those were the most words the woman had spoken since they began the interview back at St. Emma. "Are you now admitting to knowledge of the death of the man who was impersonating him?" "Paul Schneider? Yes, though I only learned of his existence after he'd taken the place of Brother Bernard." "How did you learn this information?" Church wanted to get as much information as she could before the nun clammed up again. "Oh, someone told me that Brother Bernard was an imposter." "And who was that person, sister?" Church felt as if she were on the verge of a breakthrough. "I don't like to say." Church was astounded at the sister's naivety. Did she really think she could choose whether or not to reveal her source? She grew frustrated. "Sister, you really don't have a choice." "It was someone who'd suffered at the hands of the Stasi, and that man in particular." Church and Gable exchanged glances. Were they finally going to learn the identity of the murderer of Paul Schneider? "Who told you the true identity of Schneider, sister?" Church urged. "I promised I'd never tell." "Who did you promise, sister?" Gable asked. "I can't say." Fenella Church had had just about enough of the intransigent nun. "In the name of God!" she shouted, banging both her palms on the table that separated them, and Sister Rebecca visibly jumped in her seat. "I'm getting sick of this. You call yourself a nun. You profess to be a follower of Christ. You say you don't tell lies, and yet all you've done so far is evade our questions. Lie about speaking German, and now more evasion and lies. For God's sake, sister, tell us what you know." "Are you a member of Die Strafe?" Gable added for good measure. "What? Die Strafe? I know it means something to do with revenge or retribution, but what do you mean? Am I a member? Of what exactly? Is it supposed to mean something to me?" "The organisation was set up to track down and seek retribution against wanted Stasi members. I suppose now you're going to tell us that you've never heard of it." Church challenged, nearing the end of her patience. "I tell you truthfully, I've never heard of such an organization.